This is Gemara Chulin, Daf Chav Ches, and we're holding on Chav Zayin Amid Beis. We're 4 lines from the bottom. We pick it up with a meisvei. If we begin with a meisvei, that means we're asking a kasha. What are we asking a kasha on? We're asking a kasha on the fascinating opinion of Rav Yehuda Misham Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas. And Rav Yehuda Misham Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas will highlight the line said a din about a shchitas oif. And he said particularly, shchita loiv mina Torah. There's no din of shchita mina oiv mina Torah. It's only a din midrabanan. Mina Torah says Rav Yehuda Mishum Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas. You could kill the animal by just ripping through the simanim, however possible. But the din of shchita, the din of the continuous cutting, the din of cutting through Roiv Simanim is not midaraisa, says Rav Yehuda Mishum Rav Yitzchak ben Pinchas. So Meisvei asks the Gemara, HaShoichet v'nis navla biyadai. If someone performs shchita and it becomes an avela in his hands, as he's in the process of doing the shchita, it becomes an avela. Hanoicher, or a case of one pierces the animal, or the bird, as we'll see. V'ma'aker, or he rips through the simanim, the pipes. Pater melachasais, there's no din of kisui adam, of covering over the dam, which of course we have by a requisite shchita. So if you're going to tell me there's no din of shchita, like we just spoke out, so then what is there yes a din of? Of nechira, of me'aker. Nechira sai zui shchita sai. Then the nechira would be the shchita, and therefore what? Libai kisui. To require kisui adam. Why? Because on a deoraisa level, it would be considered a good shchita. If it's a deraisa level, then avada required kisui adam. The fact that it says that there's no kisui adam clearly is indicative that what? That avada there is yes shchita min ha'oif min ha'tayra, and nechira is not doing anything. Responds the Gemara, misavris ba'oif. Who told you that this Mishnah is talking about an oif loy b'chaya? And that's the reason why it's not doing anything, and that's why there's no din of kisui adam. Tashema, another kasha on the last line of Chav Zayin Amid Beis, HaSheichet v'zarech ledam. If someone shechs and he needs the dam, why does he need the dam? We'll see in a few moments. Chayiv lekasix. So what does he do? How does he perform the shchita in a way that he'll be able to get the dam like he needs? She either pierce through the pipes or tear through the pipes, and then the dam will be able to be utilized in whatever manner that he needs. So says the Gemara as we turn over to Chav Ches Amid Aleph. My love, what are we referring to? Ba'if. What are we talking about? Talking about a bird, the kabayil le dama le nicha. That you need the dam for licha. What mazeh? What's this licha? So Rashi says that you used to have a fascinating usage for the dam of an oif. That this dam was utilized to protect their garments from moths, and therefore the ush, as Rashi says, an ush is a moth. And therefore, it would make sense that we're talking about an oif. It would make sense that we see this is a case that they need the dam. And therefore, what's the kasha? The kasha is that we see that the nechira, that clearly there should yes be a din of shchita midaraisa from the fact that you don't need to cover the dam when you didn't do shchita, rather you did nechira. Responds the Gemara, loy bechayos. What do you need the dam for? The kvar ledama lilacha. That you need the dam to make red dye, and not the case that you need the dam of the oif for the moth repellent. Continues the Gemara, even though there's 2 dots over here, it's another kasha. Toshima, says the Gemara, Malak bisakin, if a kohen performs malika with a knife, not with his fingernail. Metame begad ma beis abliya. V'yamer dein shchita like minat toiro. You tell me there's no din of shchita. Nehi, very good. Nami d'chita verlei shedra mafrekes avila treifa. So very good. That the mannerism that he's using, the mannerism of a maliko with a sakin, is something that's going to render the animal a treifa, tana l'sakin l'taira, midei nevela. However, if there's no din of shchita midaraisa, then this action should make that it does not become an nevela and should not be tamei. Responds the Gemara, who damer ki aitana de tani learned to the price of lozak far berebi oimer matam lemer ach kasher yochlas atzviva oimer chima lemanu mitzvi ayal. He learned a special drush. It's equated to atzvi and ayal, a deer, and a heart, literally in the precise definition. Why is it equating? Chima lemanu hareza ba. You know what it comes to teach us? Excuse me, I skipped the word me'at. It's coming to teach a new halacha, and turns out that it's teaching something else. V'oif ein loy shchita midivrei Torah, ela midivrei seifrim. So says the sheet of this brisa, says Rav Elazar Kfar Berebi, that we learn out from the psukim that there's going to be no shchita oif midaraisa, but there is going to be shchita midarabanan, and therefore, when the brisa said there's going to be tumas beis abliya, was on the derabanan level. Says the Gemara, Mantan the Palgul of Lozak Fire. Rebbe, the Tani Rebbe, I'm exactly a church to be Sicha. Malavichin is Avem Moishal Veshev Alakana Val Revechad Boif. Rav Shnayim Bebehima. So concludes the Gemara that Rebbe is going to be the Shita that's going to be arguing. So the Gemara is concluding that it's Machlekes Tanoim, whether we have Shchita Midaraisa by an Oif, or whether we only have Shchita mide Rabbanan. Continues the Gemara, Echad ba'oif. We said in the Mishnah that when it comes to an oif, if you cut one of the simanim, the Shchita midaraisa is going to be kosher. Itmar. Rav Nachman Amar Oiveshet Aikana. Either simin will kasher up the Shchita of an oif. Rav Ada Barava. Amar Raveshet v'lo yakana. No, it has to be Davka the esophagus. Rav Nachman Amar Oyaveshet Oyakana. No, I think I said that wrong. One more time. Rav Ada Barava said Veshet v'lo kana. Only the Veshet, the esophagus. I don't remember which one I said, so just fix it. The Veshet is the esophagus. We have a machlekes. So when the Mishnah said one simin, is that either or is that Davka the Veshet, the esophagus? So Rav Nachman says, Veshet Aikana, Veshet Aikana Echad Katani. So what does he learn this out from? Echad Katani. Echad means koldu. Rav Ada Barava Amar Veshet Laikana, my Echad miyuchad. It means the special one of them, and therefore Rav Ada Barava, learns which is more miyuchad, the Veshet or the kana, the esophagus. Says Rav Ada Barava, the Veshet is the one that's more miyuchad. Meisvei, ask the Gemara, Shachat es ha-Veshet v'achad nishmit ha-gargeres, kisheirav, when shechted the Veshet, we have an oif, so he went through the esophagus, and then the trachea then became detached from the gargeres. The gargeres is the trachea, became detached from the jaw. Its place of attachment to the top of the skull. Nishmita hagargeres. Ksheira. Nishmita hagargeres. But if the trachea became detached, and then v'achar shachat es ha-Veshet, psula. Continues the brisa. Shachat es ha-Veshet, if she shechted the esophagus, and what he's inspecting, even if it's a gargeres shemuta, he finds that the trachea is detached, and he doesn't know when did it become detached. Was it detached before the shchita? This was a story. And the Dayanim said, Kol safek b'shchita, psula. Then he safek by shchita, it's going to be possible. So, Braisa. Again, we have a machlekes Rav Ada bar Ava versus Rav Nachman. Let's highlight that right by the two dots. We have a machlekes that when the Mishnah says echad ba'oif, is Rav Nachman says either veshet or kana. Rav Ada bar Ava says no, davka the veshet. Okay, and we just quoted a brisa. So now says the Gemara, vilu shchita begargeres like atani. The kasha we're all wondering. Don't get confused. The gargeres is the same thing as the kana. So says the Gemara, vilu shchita. Same thing as the trachea. Vilu shchita. Vigargares like Adani. He doesn't say anything about shchita vigargares. So we see clearly not like Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman said the shchita is like veshet dekana. So Rav has the dafka the veshet makes sense. But now we have a brisa that keeps on talking about the vakana, the gargares, and it never once mentions the shchita of it. So clearly akasha on Rav Nachman. Says the Gemara, Misham de Gargares, Avida Lishtamute. The reason why it does not discuss the kana, the Gargares, the kana, the trachea becoming detached, is because it's more likely to become detached, and therefore you can't say that there's no din of shchita on that siman. There is. It discussed the case of becoming detached because that is a common thing to happen during shchita, but it's lav dafka teaching us that the gargaris itself is not a makkah mashchita. Tashema another kashan of Nachman says the brayso shachat shnei chatzai siman ba'ay psula vein zarach leimer bebehema. If you shach two halves simanim Rav Yudaimer ba'oif achi yishchates haveshet ves averidim. On the oif you have to shach both the veshet and the veridim misham the veshet samol the veridim because the veshet is near. Excuse me. Achi yishchates the veshet ves averidim. So what do we see? Nachamo. This brisa doesn't make any mention of the kana. Akasha on Rav Nachman. Says the Gemara, Misham the Veshet, Samach Levridim. The Veshet is near the Vridim, and that's why he talks about the Veshet. However, in Achanami, according to Rav Nachman, I'll tell you, he could do Shchita on the Kana as well. Now let's bring a raya the other way to Rav Debarav, Kashan Rav Debarava. Toshema, Shachat Gargares. You shall have the Gargares, Vishol, Kedish Shchita Acheres. And you wait to perform another shchita v'gamar, and then you finish going through the gargares, the kana, shchita, hasoik sheira, my love. Five. And what do we see? Oh my gamra, what does he mean completed? Gamra the gargares, he finished the kana. So we see klar like Rav Nachman, that you're able to do shchita on the kana, not like Rav Ada bar Ava. Says the Gemara, lo, you know what it's referring to? It's referring to, bebehemo, my gamra. Gamra l'shchita kula means you finish the complete shchita, but it's not going to be a kasha on Rav Ada bar Ava. Tashma another kasha. Harisha yachati kana pagum. If half of the trachea was blemished, v'haisav alav kol she'o, and therefore he did a little more shchita and completed the shchita. Shchita like sheira. My lav ba'if. Well, my gomer lekana the same raya. Loi bebeim. My gomer le veshet. Tashima one last brisa. A kashan Rav Ada bar Ava. Ketzan malkin chatas oif. How do you perform the malika? Chaytech shedra umafrekes. You cut through the shidra, the spinal cord, and do mafrekes and the neck bone, below roiv basar, without going through the majority of the flesh on the back of the neck. Achemagia leveshet oy lekana. Higia leveshet oy lekana. Choytech semin echad v'roiv basar imay. Then what do? You cut the roiv semin and the basar with it. Uba oila, in the case of carbon oila, shnayim, you have to cut through both. Oy roiv shinayim. So what do we see? We see very clear Tiyufta, Ravada, Barava, Tiyufta. We see very, very clear, not like Ravada Barava, who is the opinion that said Davka the Veshet and not the Kana. We see an explicit price that seemingly dictates Oy Veshet, Oy Kana. And interesting, even after being Tiyufta, Ravada Barava, the Gemara doesn't take it standing down. And the Gemara says, "My Havi Allah." What is the maskana? Says the Gemara, "My Havi Allah." What do you mean? Get the Kamrit. Like we just said, we had a kasha or a Barava, and as we saw the Chotin Oifen and Oila. Says the Gemara, no. Maybe in the case of Malika, it's different because you have to cut through the shidra, the spinal cord, and the neck before getting to the kana and the veshet, and therefore that's the reason why the din is as such. But what about by a regular shechita of a knife? Maybe it's not the same thing. Tashema, says the Gemara. There was a duck that belonged to the house of Rav. Awesome. Kime masmes ku'e Dama. It was brought Rava with its neck, has some blood on it. Amar Rava, Hechi Nevad. How are we going to examine the dog? Nishchata, should we shecht it? V'adar nivdek, and then check it. Double makam nekev kashachet. Maybe you're going to shecht in the place of the nekev, and therefore you're not going to see the fact that there was a life-defying mark and cut in this duck, and really it's a treifa. Nivdika check if other nishchata, Hamar Rava, Veshet ain't labadika mibachot. You can't actually check if the Veshet is intact from the outside. El mibevnim. So what are we supposed to do over here? Amli Rav Yosef Parei said Rav Yosef Isa nivdike lekana. So we should shecht the kana. Vinishchata lekana. Ule kashrei, and make the duck kosher. V'hadar lavchua leveshet. And then after you remove the entire esophagus, turn it inside out and examine it. Amar Rava Chachem Yosef Abri Betreifa is Rav Yechanan commenting on his son. My son Yosef is the knowledgeable as log of Trefas like Rav Yechanan. So Lamaisa, what do we see? Alma Echadika Amar Oy hai, not like Rav Ada Barava, and rather like the opinion of Rav Nachman. Continues the Gemara, 8 lines down, Chav Chesam Beis, Rav Yehuda Aimer, quoting the next part of the Mishnah, Ad Sheyishchait. Says Rav Yehuda, you need to go through the Vridin as well. Amar Rav Ches, Tolem Rav Yehuda Lebeoif. Rav Yehuda, talking about the Vridin, is only talking about an Oif, Oil Vitzalo, Kulai, Kechad. Why? Because you roast the bird whole. You cut up the beima, aver. You don't have to cut through the veridin. Says the Gemara. What is this din of Rav Chisda qualifying Rav Yehuda to only be saying his din by an oif and not by a beim? Lememra, at the time of Rav Yehuda, it sounds like the reason of Rav Yehuda misham damu. The reason of Rav Yehuda is that we're concerned about the dam, and that's why you have to cut through the veridin. So you cut through the veridin. So the word yishchait implies cutting the veridin, and therefore not because of the resultant issue of the dam. It sounds like frek the Gemara. It's an inherent problem with the shchita. Responds the Gemara, Ema, I'll tell you what Rav Yehuda really meant. Gave esav reading until you make a hole in the reading. Gave bishas shchita. But indeed, it's a dam problem, but not a shchita problem. Tashema, another kasher of esav reading bishchita. Div Rav Yehuda. We see clear that what it says in the Brisa, the vridim are cut during shchita. Again, Nachamal, it seems to be part of the shchita. Aim of ridim sarech lenakvam bishas shchita div Rav Yehuda. Tashema, third kasha. Amr Rav Yehuda me'achash lo yuzku v'ridin elo haitzi mehem dam. After we only mention the v'ridin to remove the dam, mali b'shchita, mali shlei b'shchita. Why? They asked Rav Yehuda if the whole issue of the v'ridim is with the dam. Why is it different if it's during the shchita or not? So Mechlal, for the Kasha to Rav Yehuda, what does it imply? Rav Yehuda suffer b'shchita. It's part of the shchita process. Says the Gemara, no, Achi Kamerla. This is what they were saying to Rav Yehuda. Mali lenagvam b'shas shchita, mali lenagvam shlo b'shas shchita. Why is the difference when you pierce it? Who's sovereign? Rav Yehuda holds b'shas shchita sidam techayim, shlo b'shas shchita lo sidam tekarer. Rav Yehuda holds it's a dam issue. So why does it have to be done b'shas shchita? Because the time of the shchita, it's still dechayim, it's still warm, and therefore the blood flows freely. Whereas not at the time of the shechita, it's cold, the blood starts to congeal, and therefore the blood will not come out properly. Says so these are all different ways of proving that the way the Rav Chisda qualified Rav Yehuda's statement is indeed accurate. By Rav Yirmiyah. Comes along Rav Yirmiyah. For eating the Rav Yehuda, Shah Bahen, Daras Bahen Ma'u. So, regardless of the way Rav Chisda learned to Rav Yehuda, comes along Rav Yirmiyah and he asks, according to Rav Yehuda, and again he's clearly learning that it's a din of the shchita. If you did Shah or Daras, if you paused or you pressed during the cutting of the Vridin Ma'u, is that a problem or not? So Amr Le'ahu Saba, Hachi Amr Rav Elazar, V'Amr Lo Amr Lu Ahu Saba, Rav Elazar, Hachi Amr Rav Yechran, Minakvam, you let to make a hole, Bekoitz, Ve'ein Ksherim. Again, the Vridin just got to get rid of the blood. Says the Gemara, Tani Kavasi, the Rav Chisda, bring your raya. Shachat Shnei Chatzoi Simanim Ba'oif, Pasul, Ve'in Tzarech Lemer B'meim, Rav Yehuda Ba'oif, Ad Sheyishchat Es HaVeshet, Ve'es, have ridim. So we see, like Rav Chisda and the Braisa, that Rav Yehuda's din is applying during the shechita of the oif, but Avada is not a din of the shechita, but it's a din in the dam. Continues quoting the Mishnah, Chatzi echad ba'oif v'chulu, half of the pipe of the bird, or 1.5 pipes of a behema, it's going to be possible. Says the Gemara, Itma Rav Amar Mechza Mechza Keroiv. Says Rav, if a shechita is done half and half, meaning half is cut through and half is not cut through, it is like roiv was cut through and the shechita is kosher. Rav Kana Mechza Mechza Einai Keroiv, and it's not going to be kosher. Explains the Gemara. Rav Amar Mechza Mechza Keroiv Achi Amar Le Rachmana Le Moshe Lo Tishayeruba. Don't leave over roiv. So once you did till half, you're fine. Rav Kahana Amar Mechza Mechza Einai Keroiv Achi Amar Le Rachmana Le Moshe Shchait Ruba. You have to shecht roiv. So the machlekes is going to be: is there a din of shchita of roiv, or is there a din that you can't leave not the roiv unshechted? Tanan, so let's ask some kashas. A kasha on Rav. Rav that says it's going to be kosher. Chatzi echad ba'oif echad. V'chetzi bebeima shchita psula. Says our Mishnah. Yamar mechza mechza keroiv. So my apostle. Says the Gemara. Havale roiv. Midit Rav. Havale roiv. He did a roiv. Responds the Gemara, you know the Mishnah, it's yes, kosher, says Rav. So why does the Mishnah say possible? It's possible midrabanan. We're worried maybe he didn't actually get half. Another kasha. If one split, it's talking about an oven into 2 pieces, and the 2 pieces are shavim. Shneim Tameim. You can't be precise to know that you actually got half. Toirim. Amai Toirim Zelachi Garuba Zelachi Garuba. Each part is going to be Raiv. And therefore ask the Gemara. Kasha and Rav, who says it's kosher. So Nachamal, Amar Papa, Trey Ruby, Bechan Mana, Leka. When you cut through 1/2, that's when Rav says half is like roif. But says Rav, if in the same item I split it in half, I can't view each half like a roiv. That's an inherent stira. On 1/2, I can say it's like a roiv. But to say each half is like a roiv, you cannot do. Tashema, one last kasha on Rav, shachad chatzi grois, v'shaba, kidei shchita acheres, as we turn over to Chavtes and Aleph. V'gamra, shchita like sheira, v'yamr mechsa keroiv, itarfala, that when he first did half, it's considered like a treifa, because once you did a roiv, it should be considered that the trachea is fully severed. It's a treifa because you didn't do the proper shchita. Responds the Gemara, misavers behema. We're not talking about behema that you have to do two simanim. Loi ba'if. Says Gemara, I'll tell you why the shchita is kasher memanav shach. Imachsa machsa keroiv. Havlei ruba. Imachsa machsa einai keroiv. Loi avid. V'loi klum. You didn't do anything. And now I know we're well into Chavtes, but one last kasha. This is going to be the final blow to Rav. Tashema hareisha chatzi kana. We're shechting a bird, and half of the trachea was blemished. V'aisav lav kol shu, and you did a little more. V'gayim when you finish shchidas like sheira. V'yamrech hechsa mechsa skarayiv. So when the original half was messed up, treifa avoy. It's going to be a treifa. So it says the Gemara, Amar Rava, shiny, lenient treifa, Tina Raven your lenai. Rav's din was only what? Rav's din was only what? Excuse me. Rav's din was only on the shchita. So if you shecht half, then what? It can have a din of a roif. Says the Gemara, to make it a treifa, it's not the same rules. To make it a treifa, you need a roiv hanira le'e nayim. We're just going to go a little further because the next step is longer, and this is really one discussion. I know we usually don't do this, but maybe this is better. Feel free to reach out and comment if you agree. Amrle Abaya, v'loi kol dechenu, says Abaya. It's even a kalva chaimer, says Abaya. Why? Uma trevet bim mashu mitjarfa hechadina and ruba bina and revenir leinayim shchita that what adika ruba lemiskashra. Meaning by a treifa, one dam makes it a treifa. So now you're telling me, but by roiv you need a revenir leinayim. By a shchita, what do you need? You need a roiv. So shchita adika ruba lemiskashra. Well, koshkin the revenir leinayim. So says Abaye, Rav, you're wrong. You can't tell me mechsal gonna be like a roiv. You should have revenir leinayim. So says the Gemara Ella, and with this we conclude. The kuli alma mechsal ain't like a roiv, not like Rav. V'chiyetmar de Ravu de Ravuna. So where was their ganze machlokes? Linyan Pesach itmar. They're arguing only by the Karban Pesach. That what? Risha Yisal Mechsa Tayru Mechsa Tameim. Rav Omer Mechsa Mechsa Keroiv. Rav Kana Omer Mechsa Mechsa Einoi Keroiv. And the kasha was Klape Shechting the Karban Pesach. Rav says is considered like a roiv, and therefore even those who are tamei bring the Pesach Sheni. Rav holds that when half of the people are tar and half are tamei, each group is its own roiv, and therefore we're going to have a fascinating dichotomy that those who are tar are going to bring their carbon in the right time, while those who are tamei are going to be able to bring it betuma. That's the dichotomy. Because if roiv is tamei, you'll have to shecht betuma. I roiv is tar. Says Rav, each mechsa is like a roiv, and each one can shecht it. So Rav learns a special din by Karban Pesach that the mechsa al mechsa is we consider like a roiv. Why? Agzir shava, agzir zakasov, ish ki yatami lenefesh. That ish implies that to be nidche, but the tzibur will not be nidche. We'll pick it up from here. B'siyata dishmai.